All right, let's talk about one of the most underrated players in football this season, Zack Bon, who, if you don't know, he had kind of a crazy, career. So he's had kind of a crazy career so far. He's been in the league for a bit now. He was a third-round pick by the Saints in 2020, but he's really struggled with them. Never had more than 303 snaps in a season. Ultimately, gets signed by the Philadelphia Eagles, who now he played incredible for them. In fact, he was first team All-Pro and was really impactful in the Super Bowl. Let's talk about what he did in the Super Bowl. First, it was stuff like this. Just the, again, underrated aspect of, football, which is coverage. A lot of times when, good coverage happens, we almost either blame the quarterback or the offensive line because, nothing's working. But like a play like this is a really important one. So he's the one who's in covering that white zone over the middle of the field. Travis Kelce is going to try and run past him. Watch. You see when this play begins, Kelce trying to get into a gap in coverage, and he's going to do that thing that Kelce always does, which is he kind of fakes it that he's going one way and then cuts back and tries to get open more towards the top of the screen. It's something that's really effective. The issue is he's done it enough that the Eagles, and this is kind of a story of the game really, is that the Eagles knew that it's what he likes to do, and Zack Bon knows it's what Kelce likes to do. Watch what Bon does. Watch how he then actually drifts back towards the top of the screen. Again, he didn't see Kelce. Like, he just kind of knew that's what he was doing. He had his back turned towards Kelce, but knew where to go, and you see right here, Kelce completely covered up. Everyone blamed Kelce for not getting open, and listen, I made my video on Kelce's performance, but part of it goes down to the defense, and Bon was on Kelce for most of the game and did a great job at covering him. Here, Baun doesn't do a great job of tackling there, I'll be honest, but as a whole, he had teammates behind him, so I'll still say this was a very good play and really goes to show what he was able to do so well in this game and why he was so impactful. Of course, we got to talk about this play, the interception, the one that we're, going to think of most when we think of his performance in this game. Again, the concept is pretty simple right here. It's a zone coverage play, trying to get into a gap in coverage in between the two linebackers over the middle of the field. Okay, simple enough. Mahomes takes the snap, and Josh Sweat is going to create some pressure, so Mahomes is going to get bumped on this play. But even with that, it's a bit of a dangerous throw. I mean, there isn't a huge window. Like, I think it's a fine throw for Mahomes to make, but still, watch what Baun does. Watch as when the throw's a bit behind, Baun is able to make a leaping catch and he gets the interception. Like, one thing we've talked about in years past is Mahomes will give you some opportunities. Mahomes is a quarterback who he will put the ball in harm's way every now and then, and a lot of times guys aren't able to capitalize on it. Sometimes you got to capitalize on the mistakes, and that's what Baun was able to do. But it was also mistakes set up by still good coverage to be in the area. So yeah, really good stuff. You have something like this as well, where you see, again, Baun's zone is the one that is in white. This is a concept designed to beat Baun, designed to beat zone coverage. You have a receiver running a route that's going to be kind of more underneath where Baun is, and then one a little bit further deep. Well, when this play begins, really this is a Philadelphia Eagles defense play as a whole, not just Baun, but you do see he's doing a very good job at covering this up. Kelce, if he's going to get open, it's going to be later on in the play. He's not open now. Mahomes could throw underneath, but if he does that, this still probably isn't going to work. Baun is very close in that area and has another player who is relatively close in that area on top of it. But also watch when Kelce goes further. You see Reed Blankenship, actually, the safety, came down to cover Kelce. This is just what the Eagles did so well, is they kind of knew where each other was. They played as a team. They know, okay, if I cover you up until this point, then by the time I no longer cover you, someone else is going to be covering you. And it's difficult to do, but when you've played all season with these guys, you start to get this stuff going. And again, Baun did a great job of that, as did really everyone for this Eagles team. We can talk about the running game a bit. Again, the Chiefs did not run the ball a ton, but when they did run the ball, it didn't work, which is part of why they didn't run the ball a ton, right? If the Chiefs had success running, they would have ran more. And while, again, run defense is a team game just like coverage is when you're playing zone, you got to make sure everyone is doing their job. Baun was one of the players doing his job. You see on this play, you see where he is on the field. You're going to have a center eventually get up to try and block him, and not just any center, but Creed Humphrey, debatably the best center in football. However, when this play begins, first really good push by the interior, that was Jalen Carter, to not allow Humphrey to get clean out there, but still, that little hesitation a lot of times isn't enough, and Humphrey would still be able to make this block. Here, though, Baun is getting over and getting to where the ball carrier is. Kareem Hunt's going more towards the top of the screen. And as you see, Baun is able to rush over, and I mean, there's a bunch of bodies trying to make that tackle and successfully making that tackle, but Baun was one of those bodies, right? So again, it's not just him, it's everybody, but at the same time, it was in part him being able to make a play like this. But in a weird way, I almost feel like this is like the biggest, most impactful thing he did, even though he's not even going to get looked at on this play. So what am I talking about? Well, it's a 4th down and 5 here. The Eagles are up 27-0. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, but hey, crazier things have happened, and this is such a stupid thing to say, but it would worry me more that it's 27-0 than 28-0, because that's like 4 touchdowns and you're losing. That's one of those, like, I feel like video game things that you can, like, see yourself losing on, right? But if the Chiefs are going to have any chance to get back in this game, they need to convert this 4th down and 5. What do they usually do? They usually look towards Kelce. Kelce is the route you see on the screen, but you see the white zone. This is where Baun is, and Baun is not someone who only plays middle linebacker. He mostly plays middle linebacker, but they will kick him out and have him play strong side or even weak side on occasion. You see right here, that's where he is. So, okay, kind of makes sense, right? If Kelce's in that area, let's make sure we have our best coverage linebacker in that area. Got it. Well, you see when this play begins, so Kelce's trying to get open past Baun. Baun has covered this up, and you also have another player, Mitchell, who's doing a great job at paying attention to Kelce. So you got a lot of bodies on Kelce. But here's why I think in some ways this is the most impactful thing Baun was doing is on a 4th down and 5, they are not even looking towards Kelce's direction. Mahomes didn't even consider, hey, is 87 open on a play like this? Instead, he throws it elsewhere, and you got to give credit for the Avonte Maddox being able to make that play, knocking the pass away. That was definitely a clutch play, and he did a good job. But at the same time, this is kind of what you got to look at, right? Just as much in coverage, it's not just about the plays you make when the ball goes in your direction. It's about not getting the ball to go in your direction, and sometimes getting the quarterback to not even look in your direction. They put him against Kelce and took Kelce out of the game. So while it was a team effort to take Kelce out of the game, it wouldn't be fair to solely credit Baun. He definitely was the biggest factor in taking Kelce out of this game, along with, I didn't think Kelce played that great too. That helped for sure, but still. As a whole, Zack Bon, an incredible performance by him, and now he's gone from being a guy who, was sort of a depth player to being an all-pro, a Super Bowl champion, and an upcoming free agent. That guy's just made generational wealth, so, credit to him. That's what I think about all this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.